Yo, what is going on YouTube? I'm just going to be doing a quick, little more in-depth video on the trade setup that I posted on Friday in the YouTube short. And I'm just going to be getting into basically why I selected this setup and kind of how my strategy works around it. So my strategy is very simple. I do just a top-down analysis starting from the daily time frame, and I just establish whatever the high time frame trend is. So for the daily time frame, we're looking at this right here. This piece of market structure, we had a big sell-off throughout the month of June and July, and then at the end of July, we had a bounce and sort of this recovery now that's happening, and we've broken out of this trend. And so this fair value gap on the daily time frame was created, and now that's what we had entered into at the time. And then also at the 4-hour chart, we're looking at the same situation. There's also a 4-hour fair value gap, and this trade also happened just after the price had come down to respect a 200-day moving average as support. So we have high time frame confluence for a long on this chart right now, and then looking at the 5-minute time frame, which is really where I took my entry. I was filled using a limit order, and this wick came down, which is the wick I was filled on. I was filled right around 402, and this was actually also a 30-minute fair value gap. So there was a lot of bullish fair value gaps in this that sort of indicated to me that this was going to be a buying opportunity. And that's also what correlated with the higher time frame trend. So I entered long via a limit order for a single contract. This was my stop loss. So price actually was about 4 points away from stopping me out in this trade. And once I entered into profit, I began to trail my stop loss slowly but surely all the way up to here, where I was trailed out for about $84 in profit right at some point here in this candle. And my original TP was actually all the way up here at 463, which it did eventually hit, and that trade would have been about $120 or so. And that would have been nice, but my strategy dictates that as I enter profit, I'm going to trail my stop loss so that I am able to secure my profits as the trade progresses, rather than leaving them open to going away if it turns around on me. So and then when I looked at the rest of this trend here that took place once I exited, I was like, wow, like this trade, this stop loss would have produced way more profit. This would have been $275 in profit in theory. If I had left this stop loss and not trailed, and that would have been fine and dandy. But I've had this problem in the past, and I'll look at something like this and I'll think, damn, I need to look for that. I need to take those trades, and I'll be sitting here leaving these trades open, looking for that big $275 profit on a single contract. But then this isn't going to be there every day. But the trade that I did take, the 40 points that I did take, that's going to happen much more often. So I just have to keep myself in the habit of taking these profits that appear more frequently, rather than trying to wait for these perfect setups like this trade could have been. You know what I mean? And I feel like in a weird way, this is the type of thing that the market will show you to try and convince you, or get you to convince yourself that this was a bad trade that you took, that you need to look for the bigger trade because look what you missed out on. You know what I mean? So I guess that's just like the lesson from this setup. I think that's something people should keep in mind definitely as you're trading. Have tried to build a better sense of what setups actually make themselves appear to you in frequently. What are setups that actually occur pretty regularly, and then what setups are ones that maybe only happen once a month or once a couple times a year. And just understand that when you see those setups, that's not the type of thing that's going to be there every day. So I'm trying to just focus on the everyday setups and just build more consistency with that. And if I get the big home runs along the way here and there, I'm happy with that. So I'm not going to try and chase these massive risk to reward setups. which is something it was a massive trap that I used to fall into. So that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you for watching. Drop a comment, leave a like, and let me know if you have any ideas on what type of video you want to see me do next. And yeah, until next time.